What's up, guys? I put a story on my TikTok and asked you guys to send me your guitars, and I'm gonna put them all up on the screen, and I'm gonna rate them. You're a freak, dog. All right, first up, we got Letty. She says, I have these, but they are not with me at the moment. Those look a little familiar. I give those an absolute 10 out of 10. They're the best guitars in the world. All right, next up, we got Jay, who sent this Harley Benton Flying V. Listen, I don't know much about Harley Benton. It's not an American brand. I've never seen one in person. They seem like nice guitars. I've only heard nice things about them. But the Flying V shape is one of my favorites. And that black and white color is so good. It looks like a great guitar. I just have no idea how it plays. I have no idea anything about Harley Benton. But I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It looks like an amazing guitar. All right, next up we got Zach. We have a Jackson Dinky and a Fender Mustang on the floor. And the coolest looking Telly I've ever seen in my life. It looks like a Fender, and I think the headstock says Fender. That thing is legit, dude. Like, if I ever bought a real Telly, that would be it. That thing is amazing. Just off that Telly alone, it is 100% like a 8.5 out of 10. I think it's sweet. All right, now we're on to Eddie with the suspicious message. He sent a picture of his pedal board, and it looks legit, dude. Boss delay pedal, Boss DS1, a big muff, that's pretty cool. Why do you have so many distortion pedals? I see a DS1, a big muff, an EVH distortion. Looks like you have a Boss tremolo pedal. I'm not the biggest fan of tremolo pedals in general. I see a RC1. I see the Digitech Drop Tune pedal, which is pretty sick. That thing's legit. I see the Eddie Van Halen Phase 90, that's pretty cool. Overall, that looks like my dream pedal board. That thing is amazing. I still don't know why you have so many distortion pedals, but overall, that is amazing. That thing is super sick. Eddie has even more here, ripping it with the hair, dog. You're flowing like a motherfucker. We got his custom Van Halen. He was the one who inspired me to build my Van Halen. Big props to him. He's amazing. But that thing is awesome. He did it way better than me. I like that he put the Floyd on it, and that thing looks legit. I love that thing. So got an Epiphone Les Paul. That thing's sweet. That color is amazing. And then on this picture on the bottom, looks like we have some kind of hollow body and a banjo. Even more pictures from Eddie. It looks like we have a Telly, a Jackson, a bass, and some other kind of Strat. That Sunburst is such a cool color on that Telly. Even more pictures from Eddie, ripping it with the Dustin from Stranger Things look, dog. You're killing it with that look. The Iceman. Iceman is my dream guitar. That thing is sweet. The Paul Stanley, that is amazing, dog. We got that Angus Young cosplay. Looking sick. Sorry. Looking sick as hell. The Angus Young cosplay. And then scrolling down here, we got a Fender Strat, it looks like. That thing's also pretty cool. All right, now for Mike, we got a Kramer. That color is sweet, dude. And I love that guitar. I've always wanted one of those. And I was going to get a Beretta. I know that's not a Beretta, but I was going to get a Beretta and do that Bumblebee Eddie Van Halen. And, dude, I just love Kramers. Kramers are so sick. And the Marshall behind it is super cool, too. That thing is awesome. And the Jack Daniels bottle's pretty good touch to that. Down here, he says second amp, and it looks like he has a bass there and a big-ass crate amp. Crate amp looks pretty sick. Bass looks really cool, but that amp looks loud. All right, now we got Jamie. They have a classical guitar, which is pretty cool. Everyone starts out on a classical guitar. And a pretty cool-looking Telly. I really like that color on a Telly. That thing's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Looks pretty good. I like that Telly. I think that's a super cool color. And then again, everybody starts out on a classical guitar. So overall, I think that's a pretty good setup. All right, next up we got Mike. Mike, you need a new guitar, man. Our Mike has a Blue Burst acoustic, getting electric. All right, next up we got Neon Riff, who has the coolest guitar collection I've seen so far. Not entirely sure what that one in the middle is, but it looks sick. That shape with the longer horns on the Strat is super cool looking. I love that green color. It's super sick. The Telly on the right is beautiful. Beautiful guitar. The acoustic on the top right is like my favorite color of acoustic. That and mahogany. That like stripe pattern in it is beautiful, dog. And the acoustic on the left is pretty cool too. And then the red Strat on the bottom left is pretty cool too. If I had that, I'm not gonna lie, that would be a project guitar for me. That's the type of guitar I'd turn into an Eddie Van Halen. All right, now we got my good friend Snow on TikTok, who sent this setup in. He uses a pretty sick pedal board, and as far as I'm aware, he uses amp sims, which is pretty cool. That Ibanez he has, he just put in some EMGs, an 8160 set. That thing rips, dude. I see all of his videos. I highly recommend you go check him out. He's a great friend of mine. He's super supportive of my channel. I highly recommend checking him out. He's got some other guitars too. He's got this Kramer V that is the fucking It's so cool looking. And then this is this big mixer. I know nothing about this. This is like nerd stuff for me. I have no idea what any of this is, but it looks sick. And then his pedal board is ridiculously cool too. Give me that 10 band. All right, now we got Cohen. That Ibanez in the corner, which is sweet looking. The one on the other side looks like a Squire, which is cool color. I really like that. The King V, obviously, super sick guitar. That green top Les Paul is super cool looking. I've never seen that before. And then the acoustic's pretty cool too. I like the acoustic. Overall, that's a super sick setup. I like the balance of all kinds of different guitars. It's really cool looking. Now we have my good friend Cameron on TikTok. Pretty cool though. A guitar's a guitar. I would love to have that Squire. And then we got the Schecter. Listen, in my opinion, I think Schecters are pretty cool guitars. Pretty cool brand. All show. Not worth it. All show. Get rid of your Schecter, Cameron. A pretty cool setup though. Next up we got Michael, who has this sweet Les Paul. That purple top. It's mint, dude. That thing is so sick looking. That thing is... And next up, we got this one from Rattlehead. The Fender Mustang LT25. Listen, that was my first amp, and I know it gets a lot of hate. It's really good. My friend plays on one, and we play together all the time. Dude, it's bass heavy. It sounds great. You can get some really good tones out of that. The Jackson Dinky looks pretty cool, too. I really like that. The Aussie poster's sick, dude. Props on the Aussie poster. That's really cool. Overall, this is a really simple setup. I really like it. This is perfect. Reminds me of my first setup, except instead of a Dinky, it was an Ibanez Geo. This is also from Cameron. Another LT25 and a Schecter. According to him, a really bad backing track amp and a Schecter. He also really wanted me to throw this in here. Apparently, it's his favorite pick. You play it with a Schecter. And coming up last on the list, we have this one from Dimahawk. He's got some pretty cool guitars. That Brian May is super cool. I've seen him playing that. It is a really cool looking guitar, and it seems like it plays amazing. The Dean Flying V is pretty cool too. I'm not the biggest fan of Dean Flying Vs. I feel like they kind of look cheap a lot of the time, but that one's really cool. The Telly on the right is super cool. That one is sick. The Fender amp is really cool too. I see those in Guitar Center all the time. They sound really good. Why is Master Chief up there? Alright guys, this was really fun to make and I love these kind of videos. I'm going to keep posting stuff on TikTok and asking for you guys to do stuff for me for videos. I appreciate everybody who's watching and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next upload.